Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United are out of the FA Cup after losing to Middlesborough 8-7 on penalties. Anthony Elanga missed his penalty. It was 1-1 after extra time. Don't know how Manchester United did not win that game. Manchester United had a lot of chances, especially in that first half of normal time. You know, Ronaldo had chances. Ronaldo missed a penalty in the game. Obviously, Manchester United got that penalty because Paul Pogba had been brought down in the 6-yard box. But I thought Ronaldo was pretty good tonight, just didn't take his chances. Ronaldo was good against West Ham before the international break. Jadon Sancho, he had a chance in the first 90 seconds of the game. It hit the woodwork. Credit to Jadon Sancho, I thought he had a good game tonight. Jadon Sancho scored Manchester United's goal in normal time. Sancho has done nowhere near as well as a lot of Manchester United fans expected, but it does take some players time to settle in. You know, Sancho though has had his good games since he signed for the club. He does look a much better player under Rangnick than he did under Solskjaer. Revert back to when we had Solskjaer, we couldn't get the best out of Sancho because Solskjaer persistently played him out of position. There was quite a few games Sancho didn't even play in under Solskjaer. Sancho did endure 4 good years at Borussia Dortmund before he signed for Man United. Manchester United signed Sancho last summer for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid 73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. Prior to this game tonight, Sancho missed the last couple of games due to personal reasons. Bruno Fernandes also had his chances tonight. He had one chance from close range in the first half, put it over the bar. Fernandes hit the post in the game. Don't know how he didn't score that. That chance came from a mistake from Middlesbrough. Bruno Fernandes was everywhere tonight, so I've got to give him credit. Fernandes was also very good in the games against Brentford away because he got 2 assists in that one, and he did well in the game against Aston Villa away in the league because he scored both of Manchester United's goals. On the other side of things though, Fernandes has endured a lot of poor games this season. Bruno Fernandes is one of the best players we've got, and he's certainly one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. Fernandes has been a Manchester United player for 2 years, got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Earlier on this season it said Bruno Fernandes rejected a contract offer from Man United. It said Bruno Fernandes' contract talks are postponed until the summer, having turned down an offer last year. It said Fernandes is demanding similar money to the top earners at the club. Fernandes receives £100,000 a week. He's under contract with Man United until 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. Paul Pogba, I thought he played well in the first half tonight. It was the first time Paul Pogba had played in 3 months. Pogba has just come back from injury not so long ago. Like I mentioned earlier on in this video, Pogba was the one that won the penalty. Pogba could be leaving Man United in the summer, but it said Pogba is willing to stay at Man United as long as Ralf Rangnick is manager for next season. Because Pogba has been impressed by Ralf Rangnick since his arrival and did mention that Pogba would be open to signing a new contract. He's out of contract at Manchester United in the summer. Was it a couple of months ago now? The Sun said that Manchester United apparently offered Pogba a new £500,000 a week contract. That would have made Pogba the highest paid player in Premier League history, but Pogba actually denied being offered that contract. This season has been Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he re-signed. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. Manchester United paid £89 million for him, so he's our most expensive signing at the moment. We had him when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. Marcus Rashford, he also had his chances tonight. I thought Rashford did well tonight. It's good that he's found some form, because Rashford has endured a lot of poor games this season. A lot of United fans have said, including me, that Rashford hasn't been the same player since he had that operation on his shoulder. Rashford missed the first 2 months of the season because of that shoulder problem. He had a minor leg injury not so long ago. Before the international break, Marcus Rashford came off the bench and scored the winner against West Ham. That goal came in the 93rd minute of stoppage time. He also came off the bench and scored in the 3-1 win against Brentford. That ended Marcus Rashford's 3-month goal drought. Rashford's contract at Manchester United expires next year. Revert back to earlier on this season, it said Marcus Rashford was preparing to open contract talks with Manchester United. Rashford has been part of the club for a long time. He risen up our academy, he's been a United player since the age of 7, and he broke into our senior squad back in 2016. And since then, Rashford's nearly made 300 appearances in all competitions. Anthony Elanga, I do recall him having a good headed chance. I think that was towards the end. And like I mentioned earlier on in the video, Elanga of course missed his penalty in the shootout. Elanga came on in the game. I'm disappointed that he's cost us tonight, but Elanga has done well since he came into the first team. I said, he looks a good asset for the first team squad. Elanga did well against West Ham before the international break. He also scored a very good headed goal against Brentford. He did well in the 2-2 draw against Aston Villa. He had a couple of chances in that game. He's been part of the club for a long time. Elanga joined Manchester United's academy at the age of 12. He's now the age of 19. Towards the end of last year, Elanga signed a contract with Manchester United until June 2026 as an option of a further year. Dean Henderson, he was in goal tonight. It was his 3rd appearance of the season. Henderson didn't really have much to do. He made one good save in the game to deny Matt Crooks. Henderson should have actually left Manchester United last month, but Manchester United blocked his exit. There's a very good chance that Henderson will leave Manchester United in the summer. Earlier on this season he had COVID for a while. Before the start of last season, was it, Henderson committed his future to the club because he signed a 5-year contract with Man United with an option of a 6th year. And he's got that experience behind him because before he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield, he also had other loan spells before with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. Middlesbrough, their equaliser was controversial. Middlesbrough's equaliser came from Matt Crooks, but in the build-up to the goal, Duncan Watmore had handballed it. So for me, the Middlesbrough goal should not have stood. I think it was an accidental handball, but it doesn't matter, it was still handball. Tonight, I looked at the stats. It said Manchester United had 30 shots. We had 71% of the possession. So I'd say Manchester United dominated for around 70 minutes. But it's disappointing to go out in the 4th round. Manchester United will not win a trophy now this season. It's going to be another trophyless season. I said, didn't I, prior to this game tonight, that the FA Cup was the only chance Man United had of winning a trophy this season. Manchester United have not won a trophy since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. And Man United have not won the FA Cup since 2016. We have won the FA Cup 12 times. But from a Middlesbrough perspective, they'll be absolutely delighted. They took 9,000 fans to Old Trafford tonight. So they showed very good support. I think they only had one player missing, and that was Mark Bowler. He's out with injury for the season. I think there was some good performance for Middlesbrough tonight. I thought Johnny Howson played well for them. He was everywhere on that pitch. Johnny Howson is a former Leeds United player. I think at one point wasn't he at Norwich as well. I thought Balogun up top made some good runs for Middlesbrough. I also thought Matt Crooks had a good game, and I thought Duncan Watmore made an impact when he came on. Like I said, he got the assist for the Matt Crooks equaliser, but like I said earlier on in the video, Duncan Watmore handballed it. Middlesbrough, of course, are in the Sky Bet Championship. They're sitting 6th in the Championship at the moment. Obviously, their manager is Chris Wilder. Middlesbrough appointed him in last year to replace Neil Warnock, because Neil Warnock got sacked towards the end of last year. Chris Wilder, has managed quite a few clubs in his managerial career. Obviously, before Middlesbrough, he managed Sheffield United. I remember when he was in the Premier League with Sheffield United. Before, he's managed Northampton and Oxford. Before as well, he managed Halifax. And a while ago, he managed Alfred Town. Before tonight, the last time Man United played Middlesbrough was back in March 2017, when of course Middlesbrough were in the Premier League. By the way, Middlesbrough actually knocked Manchester United out of the League Cup back in 2015. Manchester United, of course, were missing some players tonight, but that's not an excuse because, we had a strong team out tonight. Obviously, there was no Jesse Lingard tonight, but he doesn't really get in the team anyway. There was no Edison Cavani, he's been given some rest. Obviously, there was no Tellez. Tellez recently picked up an injury. Obviously, there was no Bailly because he recently picked up an injury as well. So there you go. Manchester United's next game is Burnley in the Premier League. That is on Tuesday. Obviously, you know the news on Mason Greenwood. Manchester United fans have burned Mason Greenwood shirts. Greenwood is banned from England and Manchester United. So Greenwood can't train or play matches. On Wednesday, Mason Greenwood was released on bail. After his arrest, Mason Greenwood has been arrested twice for sexual assault, making threats to kill, rape and assault. Not so long ago, Mason Greenwood was removed from FIFA 22. Absolutely disgraceful what Mason Greenwood has done. His Manchester United career is officially over, and his England career is also over. He's only the age of 20. Mason Greenwood joined Manchester United's academy at the age of 6. He made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. Since he broke into our senior squad, he's made 129 appearances. He's scored over 30 goals. Last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Earlier on this season, Greenwood had COVID for a while. And earlier on this season, Greenwood did say that he was upset that Ronaldo always starts. Revert back to 2019, Man United offered Mason Greenwood a life-changing amount of money. Rangnick, he's been Manchester United's interim manager for 2 months now. Obviously, he's managed now 11 games in all competitions. Obviously, he's lost 2 games. Rangnick is Man United's interim manager until the end of this season, and it said Rangnick is expected to take up a consultancy role for a further 2 years. A few weeks ago, though, like I updated you and a lot of Man United fans updated you on, it said Man United were considering offering Ralph Rangnick the job on a permanent basis. After being impressed by Ralph Rangnick since he took charge in December, because it said, Man United had put their search for a new manager on hold. Rangnick has enjoyed one transfer window as Manchester United's interim manager, and Rangnick wasn't backed last month like he initially got promised he would have been. It was a disappointing January transfer window for Man United because Man United did not make any signings, and obviously Man United wanted to sign a midfielder because when Rangnick first came in, he identified Man United's midfield as a weakness. Like I said, we should have let Lingard and Henderson go last month. We had the incident with Mason Greenwood towards the end of the window. We did loan a few players out last month. We loaned Donny van de Beek out to Everton. We loaned Martial out to Sevilla. We loaned Amad Diallo out to Rangers. We loaned Ethan Laird out. We loaned Tuanzebe out to Napoli. Teden Menge, he went out on loan to Birmingham. So there you go. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Revert back to earlier on this season, it did say that Rangnick was under pressure and he was losing the dressing room at Manchester United. It did mention that 17 Manchester United players were unhappy and wanted to leave. I think there's a very good chance that Mauricio Pochettino will be Manchester United's next permanent manager. Well, Pochettino is Manchester United's number one choice to become the next permanent manager. Pochettino has told his friends that he will be leaving PSG in the summer. Reports from France recently said that Pochettino could be sacked by March. Pochettino's job hinges on PSG getting to the next round of the Champions League. Not so long ago, PSG were knocked out of the French Cup by Nice, so reflecting on that put more pressure on Pochettino. PSG are trying to get Zidane to replace Pochettino. Earlier on this season it said PSG had agreed terms with Zidane. Pochettino's contract at PSG expires next year. I think he's won a French Cup with them and he's been PSG manager for over a year. I think Pochettino would be the right manager for Man United because I reckon he'd suit the strappings of the club and he would get the best out of these group of players. Plus he's proven in the Premier League, which is also beneficial. Because revert back to before, Pochettino enjoyed a 5.5-year managerial tenure at Tottenham. Back in 2018 he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. And at one point he almost won the league when he was Tottenham manager. I think Tottenham made a bad mistake getting rid of him. Before Tottenham, Pochettino managed Southampton. He only enjoyed a short managerial tenure with Southampton, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far, and before then he managed Espanyol. Revert back to when Man United sacked Jose Mourinho. Manchester United should have got Pochettino then, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. Erik Ten Hag, he's been relentlessly linked with a managerial role at Man United. A few weeks ago, Rangnick said that he wants Erik Ten Hag to become Man United's new manager in the summer. And a few days ago now, it said Man United fans want Erik Ten Hag to take the Old Trafford job instead of Mauricio Pochettino. I think if Erik Ten Hag came to managing the Premier League, he'd replicate what he's done at Ajax. You've got to admire the work he's done at Ajax. He's won a couple of titles with them. Revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. And he's developed the young players well. He's been Ajax manager for over 4 years. He got appointed in as the Ajax manager back in 2017. His contract at Ajax expires next year. Ajax is the 4th club he's managing in his managerial career. Before Ajax, he managed Utrecht. Before then, he managed Bayern Munich's reserves, and before then, he managed Go Ahead Eagles. You know, Man United are looking for the 5th permanent manager since Ferguson retired. Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson retired. You know, we sacked David Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, sacked Jose Mourinho, and last year Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Nothing much has changed at Manchester United, even though Man United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson retired. Manchester United have been playing catch-up since Ferguson retired, and like I've said so many times before, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club, and in that aspect, Manchester United have got to accept that. You know, Ferguson, greatest manager of all time. He won 30 odd trophies as Man United manager, including 13 Premier League titles, so reflecting on that, he brought success to the club, but Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. Alex Ferguson was at Manchester United for 27 years, was it? So reflecting on that, he was a long-serving manager. Ferguson retired 9 years ago. Man United must have spent over £1 billion since Ferguson retired, and we've brought over 40 players in as well since Fergie retired. And, you know, let me put into the equation, none of this squad is Rangnick's. You know, he's inheriting players who other managers have brought in. Not so long ago, Ed Woodward stepped down. That was good news from a Man United perspective because Woodward was one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Ed Woodward was at Manchester United for around 17 years. Richard Arnold officially replaced Ed Woodward as a new chief executive not so long ago. You know, Richard Arnold is making a decision who our next permanent manager will be. The Glazers, you know, they're still at Manchester United. You know, the Glazers have owned Manchester United for what? Over 16 years now. They bought the club for 500 million back in 2005. Revert back to April last year, Man United fans protested against the Glazers at the Carrington training ground and at Old Trafford because the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League. So there you go, and in the summer, Man United need to make some signings because we didn't make any signings last month. And I'm expecting quite a lot of players to depart the club in the summer. In the summer, I reckon Mata will go. By the way, Mata came on tonight. Cavani will leave as well in the summer. Lingard will leave in the summer. Matic will leave in the summer. Pogba will leave in the summer if Rangnick isn't Man United manager for next season. Jones and Bailly will definitely leave in the summer. By the way, Jones came on tonight in the game. Do you think Telles could leave in the summer? I hope not, because he's actually been impressive under Rangnick and he's our first choice left back under Rangnick. The only reason he didn't play tonight because he had an injury, so obviously Luke Shaw played ahead of him. Do you think Delors will leave this year? I hope he doesn't, because to be fair, he's been impressive under Rangnick, and Delors our first choice right back under Rangnick. And Henderson, he will also leave the club in the summer. Van der Beek, if he does well in his loan spell with Everton, Everton will probably get him on a permanent basis. Martial, if he does well on loan at Sevilla, you know, Sevilla will probably get him permanently. And same with Amad Diallo, if he does well on his loan spell with Rangers, you know, he may go permanently as well, because hasn't played much in Manchester United's first team. On my next video, I'll be giving you my player ratings from the game tonight. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always. And take care, God bless, see you all again very soon.